In 1945, on Christmas night, an incident happened in West Virginia, America, which even today, when remembered, makes the soul tremble. George Sodder was celebrating Christmas with his wife Jenny Sodder and his 10 lovely children. Every face was glowing with happiness, but who knew that this night was about to turn into a nightmare? A nightmare that still remains an unsolved mystery today. It happened that it was around 1 a.m. when suddenly a fire broke out in the house. George and Jenny ran outside with their 4 children, but the 5 children sleeping in the upstairs room disappeared forever. Neither were their bones ever found, nor any other evidence. Did they actually burn in the fire, or were they kidnapped? Was this fire really an accident, or was it started with a special plan? Welcome back to Unknown File Videos once again, viewers. This is not just a story, but a mystery that still keeps the world shocked today. Let's try to understand every aspect of this unsolved mystery. George Sodder was a hardworking Italian immigrant who was strongly against the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini. This was the reason he was forced to leave Italy and live in America. Speaking openly against the Italian dictator could have become a problem for him, but he never showed fear. In America, he ran a trucking business, and luckily, he also had his own house. His wife, Jenny Sodder, was a dedicated housewife who took care of her children with love and discipline. On the 24th of December, 1945, Christmas Day, the Sodder children were playing with their new toys. Night came, and 5 children went upstairs to their room to sleep on their beds. Around 1 a.m., Jenny felt smoke in the house. When she went to check, she found out that a fire had started in the kitchen for some reason. George and Jenny went outside with their 4 children, but the 5 children sleeping upstairs remained inside. George tried every possible way to save them. When George Sodder ran towards the second-floor window, he saw that his ladder was missing from its place. Then he thought he would use his coal truck to reach the window, but when he turned the ignition on, the truck did not start. The second truck was also not working. The people who were there tried to call the fire department, but unfortunately, no one answered. Later, when they somehow contacted the fire chief, the fire brigade still arrived hours after the accident. Everyone thought that for some reason the house caught fire in which 5 children burned and lost their lives. But this case was not as normal as it looked and sounded. It was much more complicated. The next morning, when the investigation started, the officials also gave a similar statement and closed the case. They said that because of the fire, the children burned and died. But this was beyond everyone's understanding because human bones cannot turn into ashes even at a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius. Especially those parts of bones that contain calcium, including human teeth, they do not even turn into ashes inside a furnace. So how did it happen that in the Sodder house fire, not 1, not 2, but all 5 children's bones and teeth were never found? Later, forensic investigation also confirmed that the duration of the fire was not long enough to turn the bones into ashes. This was quite disturbing, and because of this, the Sodder family immediately rejected the investigation report. The investigation team said that the reason for the fire was a short circuit in the kitchen, but George Sodder said that he had recently got all the new wiring done, and there was no question of any fault remaining in it. When George Sodder tried to remember those moments of the accident, he also remembered some things that were pointing towards something wrong. At the time of the fire, when he picked up the phone to call the fire brigade, its wire was cut. And this was also proven in the investigation that someone had actually cut the phone line of the Sodder house from outside. Because when a phone line breaks naturally, its edges are not smooth, but when it is cut with pliers, the edges look quite smooth. Later, Jenny Sodder remembered that exactly at 12:30, the house phone rang, and on the other side, there was a woman who was laughing loudly. Because of this, Jenny said wrong number and disconnected the call. If the phone line was cut at 1 a.m. and only half an hour earlier, a strange call had come on it, then it means that the phone line was cut half an hour before the fire started. This night was full of strange events. Before the phone call and just a few minutes before the fire started, Jenny also heard the sound of something falling on the roof. When she did not hear anything else later, Jenny went back to sleep, and just a few minutes later, she smelled smoke. Apart from this, the ladder that George kept at its place was missing during the accident and was recovered from a field far away from the house. George's 2 trucks, which were working perfectly fine one day before, how did both of them stop working at the time of the fire? Because of all these events, George Sodder's suspicion turned into belief that his children were not dead, but had been kidnapped. But how did someone take them away in so much noise? When the investigation started, another story came forward. A few months before this accident, an insurance agent came to George Sodder, who was putting a lot of pressure on him to get house insurance. But when Sodder clearly refused to take insurance, that agent finally left after threatening Sodder that he would realize it when his house caught fire. Did someone use the fire to distract people's attention and kidnap the children at the same time? Another theory is that George Sodder's open statements against the Italian dictator Mussolini were not liked by the Italian mafia. Because of this, the Italian mafia made him their target and took control of his children. Some people also claimed that they saw Sodder's children at different places after the fire. A woman said that she saw the children in a hotel with a strange couple. Other reports said that they were seen being taken away in a car. There were many stories, but one thing was confirmed, that Sodder's children did not die because of the fire. Then, where did they actually go? 1 year after the accident, some new evidence appeared. The investigation team that had earlier said the reason for the fire was a short circuit was proven wrong. The new investigation revealed that the fire was intentionally started. At that time, a bus driver was passing from there who said that he saw some people throwing something like a fireball. A few months later, when the snow melted, a rubber-like round object was found near the house, which was called a pineapple bomb. Jenny remembered the sound she heard minutes before the fire started, which came because something fell on the roof. Maybe that was the pineapple bomb. George and Jenny spent their lives trying to find the answer to this mystery. They left no effort and followed every possible lead. They made a large billboard that had pictures of the missing children and a promise of a reward. After almost 20 years, in 1960, Jenny received a letter. In this letter, there was a picture of a man who looked very similar to their son Louis, and the letter only said, "Louis Sodder, I love Brother Frankie." Was this letter really written by one of the 5 missing children, or was it just a prank? George and Jenny hired a private detective who would investigate this letter, but no trace of Louis Sodder was ever found. Years passed one by one, but this mystery could not be solved. George Sodder died in 1969. Jenny and the children who survived kept trying to find answers about their missing brothers and sisters. After George's death, Jenny never left the family house. She put fencing around the house and built new rooms. For the rest of her life, she always wore black clothes because of her grief. After Jenny's death in 1989, the family finally removed the old and worn-out billboard that had been placed for the missing children. Did these children become victims of a tragedy, or were they part of a bigger conspiracy? This is a mystery that may never be solved. I hope you all will like and share this video. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next amazing video.